All right, welcome everybody. Happy Friday and welcome to our weekly coffee with the principal. I'm so glad that you're here today. We're we're moving through the school year. It is halfway through November, and we're just 4 weeks away from winter break. So let's jump right in. Just as a reminder, you've joined the meeting muted. Feel free to use the chat box as needed. We are recording this meeting and we encourage you to leave your video on. When we get to the Q&A part, use the raise hand feature. And one thing I'll mention, I need to update this slide because we moved the web address of our YouTube channel. Long story short, YouTube disabled brand accounts. And so what that meant is that we had to shift all of our content from our old URL to a new one, which is no problem because we still have access and can upload all that stuff. But what it does mean is that if you were subscribed to our old YouTube channel about 3 weeks ago, you will have to resubscribe. So that's the downside. And it also means that this URL down here, youtube.com/KJ STEM Academy, is no longer correct. In fact, let me do this if this works. Yeah, there we go. It's no longer correct. And we will, when you get those emails on MailChimp, just click the subscribe button and you'll get that. All right, let's clear that. All right, so just today, we're going to share with you what's been going on instructionally, some operational updates, some COVID updates, and then again, as always, the bulk of the time on your questions. All right, so let's get going. So first of all, I want to share what some of our students have been doing in science classes. While we've been doing some hands-on labs, we've also been doing a lot of digital labs online. There's these wonderful resources that our students use and learn about how forces work, how motion works, how potential energy connects to kinetic energy. And this is something that we are thrilled about happening in science classes. In our history classes, you saw a couple 7th grade learning objectives here. I will be able to explain the Inca engineering achievements by creating a design proposal with improvements for the Incas messenger. So one of the things that I love about this is the way that our history teacher, Miss Alejandre, connects the content area standards in social sciences to our STEM focus as a school. So not just learning about what the Inca culture was like, the Inca history, world civilizations, but also specifically calling out engineering achievements, and then like even sort of mentally time traveling and thinking about how we would make recommendations and connections to those. So that is exciting. And you can see how she's connecting it to a specific, current events as well. This is, if you can see it, it's a proposed drawing for a wildlife crossing up at Liberty Canyon. And I think that's the 405 or maybe the 101, one of those freeways. But thinking about how engineering and can be used to solve problems that connect with issues of our society and of the environment. So super cool to see that. In our mathematics classes, in 6th grade, students are reviewing and moving forward when it comes to applying real world problems involving fractions. And fractions, we know, can be a place that is challenging for many students. So Mr. Ram here is connecting that with real life examples. So all of your 6th graders should know how to bake now using factors and multiples and taking recipes and expanding them and shrinking them down based on proportionality. So that was a way to connect mathematics to real life in our learning in that way. I left this class and I was hungry for cookies. In our science classes, and I believe this also may be 6th grade, our 6th grade students design cells as they learn the different parts of a cell, as they learn the differences and similarities between plant cells and animal cells. So students were able to put those ideas into practice by designing these amazing diagrams of the parts of cells. One of the things we also wanted to share with folks, and I think it's right here, yep, is last week we had a meeting, just an informational meeting on Monday regarding the Katherine Johnson STEM Academy basketball team that we will be starting, or we hope to start. And so it will be coached by Mr. Medellin, who led our students 2 years ago to first place finish in the league, but it's really more about fun than it is about competition. But you know, if we can do both, we'll do both. We had an info session on Zoom. We recorded the meeting. It is available at that YouTube link down at the bottom. I've also put it in the chat. FIYA is the organization that we're going to be participating with, Federation of Interscholastic Youth Athletics. FIYA is not free. It's actually pretty expensive for us as a school to compete in that league or to participate in that league. And so in order to make it plausible, we need to collect a fee for students who are playing. And so this is how you do it. We're asking that if you want to register your child, you do so by November 24th. That will allow us to move forward in the registration process. If you have any specific questions about it, you can reach out to Mr. Medellin specifically. He'll know more answers than I actually will on that. And I've just put his email in the chat, justin.medellin@lausd.net. Yeah, and just to clarify, it is a co-ed league, although the majority of students who participate in it are boys, but they do not exclude girls who really want to play on the team. All right, what's next? Oh, we're not going to watch the whole thing. All right, a couple COVID updates. I'm telling you all, I feel like I'm going to jinx this every single time I bring this up, but I'm going to keep doing that. We've now gone 7 weeks in a row here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy without a positive COVID test among staff or students. Testing happens every week. It's actually, you know, it happens right now as we're doing this. Cases are down in LAUSD in general. Again, that's because of the safety measures we're taking in place. It's also because cases are down in the county in general, and more individuals are getting vaccinated when it comes to COVID. So this is something that we're proud of, but I will tell you, you know, at some point, some individual will test positive for COVID, and what we do is we will still keep to our protocols of contacting the families, identifying close contacts. Unvaccinated close contacts will need to stay home for a period of 7 days. And so we will continue to follow those procedures when we inevitably get a positive test at some point. But, you know, we've done great for the last 7 weeks, so I'm hoping it'll be at least 7 more. Okay. So again, LAUSD has required that students 12 years of age and older get vaccinated for COVID-19 in order to participate in in-person learning. The deadline for 12-year-old eligible students to be vaccinated is they've got to be fully vaccinated by January 10th, which is the first day of the new semester in the spring. However, because it's a 2-dose protocol and you've got to wait a certain number of weeks until, you know, the effectiveness kicks in, there are deadlines that come up in advance of that, and one of them is coming up soon. So in order to meet that January 10th fully vaccinated deadline, an unvaccinated 12-year-old has got to receive their first dose no later than November 21st. And today is the 12th, so that's 9 days from now to get that first dose if they've not gotten it already. So, you know, if your child is in that boat, please make sure that they get that first dose really this week. Yeah, that's 9 days left. Now, here's some good news about that. Today, here at school is a mobile vaccination clinic, and from And sorry, it's not on this slide, but from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Actually, they're going to shut it down at about 6:45 p.m. So from 12 p.m. to 6:45 p.m., there will be an LA Unified Mobile Vaccination Team here providing vaccinations for students, but we've also been told that family and community members can be vaccinated as well. We encourage folks to create an appointment using the Daily Pass. That's the easiest way to do it and the best way to do it. However, they do accept walk-ins. If there is a line, we do not expect there to be a line of people waiting to get vaccinated, but if there is a line, we will prioritize students first before families and community members, but we are not going to turn away folks who are family members and community members as long as there are doses available. And so that is happening today from noon to 6:45 p.m. So students are dismissed at 2:17. The location for this is up at the Westchester High School Auditorium. So, if you wanted to do this, what I'd recommend is, just pick up your student at 2:15 or 2:17 when school lets out, drive up around Manchester Park, and you can just walk in, and it's a good way to do that. So that is happening. And it's a good on timing. We're a couple minutes early, so takes us to about 9:15. So what I'll do right now is I will stop the share and see what questions folks may have about anything that I've shared so far or anything that I haven't shared yet. We've got about 10-15 minutes if folks have questions. And I'm real good at wait time. All right. Ms. Torres, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning, Principal.
Good morning.
I just have a general question. It has nothing to do with what you've discussed or covered today. I just want to know, how is bullying handled in your school?
Great question. Bullying is something that we take very seriously at the school because we want to ensure that everyone has a safe environment here at the school. Bullying is something that we talk about with our school counselor, and she goes into classrooms and discusses it with all of the classes at the beginning of the school. There's also different kinds of bullying. There's physical bullying, there's cyberbullying, there's social bullying, there's verbal bullying. It's different than teasing. Teasing is done to build closeness. Bullying is about power. So what we do is if there's a report of bullying, we request the person who's reporting it to complete a statement. And actually, I'll provide you all the link in the statement so you can just see what it is that we ask folks to just tell us more about what's going on. And so we ask, hey, can you tell us what's happening? And so they tell us what's happening. And then what we do is we do an investigation. And what that means is that we talk to, or we collect statements from other individuals who maybe saw the event or maybe heard the event or witnessed it somehow, and inclusive of adults as well. And then I read all of those statements, and then I make a determination about what happened. And then there are next steps based on what happened, whether it's a pattern. There may be a school issued consequence. There may be a restorative counseling session. There may be conflict resolution. It depends on the situation. We have to handle everything on a case-by-case basis, but know that when we receive reports of something that may fall into the definition of bullying, we do a full investigation because it is, student safety, physical and emotional safety is really important to us. That's a great question. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Laura? let's see, Laura, I see that you've raised your digital hand. Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Great.
Quick question,
Uh-huh.
and it's just also probably a general question.
Sure.
We're relatively new to LAUSD and the processes.
Yep.
But I've gotten information that the Choices application is closing soon. Do we need to reapply if we're continuing with Katherine Johnson, or is it assumed that we're coming back?
Great question. So, and I'm glad you asked it, and this will, I think other people may have the same question. Catherine, one, you are correct. The Choices process is closing soon. I think it closes either sometime in November. It's very
Actually,
soon.
I think it's today.
It might be today. Okay. So it is closing soon. It is today. Here is the good news. Katherine Johnson STEM Academy is technically not a magnet school. So you do not need to use the Choices process to apply or reapply to Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. We post the Choices information in our main office, and it's in our counseling office, mostly for 8th grade families who are interested in attending a magnet school when they go to high school. But the short answer to your question is, if your child is currently enrolled at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy right now, they don't need to do anything to continue to be enrolled next year. So you're all set.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Great question. What other questions might folks have at this time? Okay, well, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today for Coffee with the Principal. And I'm going to commit to, again, doing these weekly. It's a great way for me to share information, to take your questions. And you can always, count on Coffee with the Principal roughly every Friday. And usually it's at this time. Every now and then it's something different. But again, thank you so much for joining today. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.